What's this? We will not pay you. We will pay you. Some jobs take you places you can never imagine. Don't fall for the promise behind human trafficking. It's a rather interesting public service announcement poster. I wonder how it uses the modes effectively to convey its message. An analysis video must be done. Hello. In the PSA poster titled The Unexpected Job, Pei Xuan and Tresia give us a message of how they warn young women from taking jobs that are high paying overseas, because those jobs often lead to the women being forced into sexual exploitation and prostitution. On the poster, it's a black background, and on the black background there's a silhouette of a young woman, and she's made of euros. On the top of the poster, there's the big white text, "We will pay you," which is what the traffickers are offering to them. They're offering them the money and the jobs and the good pay. And at the bottom, which is kind of a hidden message, is the warning of the poster, is when it says, "Some jobs will take you to places you can never imagine. Don't fall for the promise behind human trafficking." This is like the hidden message. This is what the traffickers don't want you to know, and this is what they're trying to warn us on. And the reason I know that it's about young women in particular and about sexual exploitation is because on the blog where I found the PSA poster is when they say, "There have been uncountable cases of young females replying to ads that promise well-paying work overseas but end up being forced into prostitution. Our poster aims to affect awareness among young females about the possibility of being tricked into human trafficking via these job advertisements." They effectively push the message by using the visual and spatial modes and the linguistic mode and the rhetorical situation. How does this PSA poster use visual and spatial modes to communicate its message and to further have its message have a bigger impact? The focal point of the PSA poster is definitely the silhouette of the woman, and the silhouette of the woman made of euros, the brightly multicolored euros, and the "We will pay you," the white "We will pay you" at the top in big text. These two things contrast well against the black spooky background that builds the scene. I think the scene of this ad is like a dark like ominous back alley where she's like, and she's looking behind her too, so she thinks like, oh, maybe if she's in like a sketchy area, she might hear like, oh, somebody behind her, and she's looking for this job. It's giving like those kind of like spooky, scary kind of vibes. The small text at the bottom, to me, is the actual warning of that the authors are trying to give. It says, "Some jobs take you to places you can never imagine. Don't fall for the promise behind human trafficking." I can draw a comparison to this by saying, by comparing it to how in drug ads, the radio, they often like list the negative side effects off really quickly, and they say them real fast and kind of at the end, so that you're not really paying attention to it, and that you go and you buy the drug. Well, in this, it's sort of similar to that, because they have it at the bottom and it's kind of hidden, and she's not really paying attention to it. She's really going for the allure of the, oh, pay attention to the "We will pay you. We'll give you more. We'll give you money, and we'll give you the good job you want," rather than, oh, don't worry about the warning. Don't worry about like the caution. Don't worry about the human trafficking bit. Don't worry about that. just because they want them to fall for the trap. The other symbol of this poster, I feel, is the woman made of money. So since that she's made of money, what the human traffickers like think of these women as, they don't think of them as actual human beings. They think of them as just a means to make money. How does the PSA poster use linguistic mode to further push and promote its message and have its message have a bigger impact? The text is "We will pay you" in big font at the top of the poster, and the bottom text, which is really small and hidden, is "Some jobs take you to places you can never imagine. Don't fall for the promises behind human trafficking." The top text, it's big, it wants your attention, and the bottom text is kind of hidden, and it's the actual message of the authors that the authors are trying to give us. The wording is kind of ominous and foreboding, like the "we will pay you." That's kind of like not specific. And it's and at the bottom it's like they'll take you places you could never imagine. It's just kind of like ominous and foreboding, and it's not super clear like what that means or what, and it seems like kind of like a negative connotation, especially when you read the bottom. This to me kind of feels is comparable to like Greek mythology with the sirens. So they have their beautiful music, which is like the "we will pay you." Oh, that's the beautiful music is similar to the money or to the good job, and the bottom text is like the rocks, like, oh, it's the human trafficking bit, like, oh, being forced into prostitution. That's the negative side. That's the ship getting smashed against the rocks when the sailors fall for the allure of the sirens. What is the rhetorical situation surrounding the message of the PSA poster? I think that when I read the sources, you will understand. According to UNWomen.org, more than 90% of women and girls represent 65% of all trafficking victims, meaning that they're disproportionate to men and boys. And more than 90% of detected female victims were tracked for the purpose of sexual exploitation. And also, according to SafeHorizon.org, women and girls are disproportionately affected by human trafficking, accounting for 71% of victims. And as we know from the UNWomen.org source, that they're pretty much going to be used for sexual exploitation, i.e. prostitution. So I think that the authors of this were seeing things like that, and so they wanted to make a poster that was covering young girls and women and warning them about how these ads, about how these job ads and these promises that these ads can give them, they might be opportunities for these human traffickers to put them in a situation where they can be sexually exploited, i.e. forced into prostitution. Now to move on to comparing these two PSA posters. One is this one with the black background, is the "people are not products" one. And then to compare that to the "we will not pay." One similarity is that they use the visual modes of both having black backgrounds. Another is that they obscures the scheme and makes them more ominous. They both focus on warning women of the threat of being human trafficked, and they both take advantage of linguistic mode by directly giving their message on the PSA. Also, they both compare women to money. So, like the human traffickers in both. The new image has a woman with a barcode on her head, and the other one, the main one that I have been talking about, that's made of euros. Both of these are methods are using the visual mode to show that, effectively showing that's how the traffickers view these women, is that there are ways for them to make money. New image uses gestural mode because the woman in the picture has she looks distressed, and they use more spatial, I guess, and also visual when they highlight the people and products, the key words. Also, they give like somewhere for you to call and report human trafficking, while the PSA poster, that the original one that I chose, did not. In conclusion, the PSA poster, the unexpected job, uses visual/spatial, in linguistic and the rhetorical situation to effectively promote and push its message of warning young girls about how human traffickers can trick and deceive them into taking they can trick and deceive them by offering them jobs that are high paying and good jobs, and trick them into prostitution and sex work. So I hope that the authors are successful in becoming like the Wax in Ulysses' years, or a more modern interpretation of Percy Jackson, into becoming that Wax, so that their messages, the messages of the sirens, i.e. human traffickers, aren't heard by these young women and aren't internalized, and hope they avoid the rocks.